This is chicken crescent rolls. We have just a few ingredients. I've got my 8-inch square pan. I'm just going to start by spraying it with some cooking oil. Then I'm going to take my cheese and grate it. We're going to start off making the sauce. So in this bowl, we're going to mix together 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, 1/4 cup of milk, and 1/2 cup of the cheese. Give everything a good stir and then pour that into the bottom of the baking dish and set it aside. Then we're going to combine our can of chicken and the other 1/2 cup of cheese and mix that together. Next, we're going to unroll the crescent roll dough and separate it into the 8 individual triangles. We're going to take a scoop of the chicken mixture and put it into each crescent and then roll the crescent up. Once you have it rolled up, you want to place them seam side down into the bottom of the dish. I just took them and kind of wiggled them down into the sauce a little to make sure the sauce was around them enough. We're going to bake this uncovered until the liquid is bubbly and the tops of the crescent rolls are browned. So it says about 25 minutes. The bottoms will stay soft like dumplings, but it'll be cooked all the way through. The color on these turned out beautiful, and these were delicious. They had just the perfect texture, and they were creamy and cheesy and so good. This is slow cooker butter chicken. We're going to start off by making our marinade for the 1 pound of chicken breast. For the marinade, we're going to take all of our ingredients and just dump it into this bag and mix it up. And then we're going to take our chicken and cut it into cubes and dump that in. And you let it sit anywhere from 30 minutes to overnight in the fridge. Once you have all the ingredients in the bag, make sure that you squish it around really well. Give everything a really good mix so that all the pieces get coated with the marinade. We're going to move on to the sauce of the butter chicken. Take our skillet over medium-high heat and add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. When the pan is hot, we're going to add the chicken pieces in batches. We don't want to overcrowd the pan. You cook until it's brown, about 3 to 5 minutes per side. Next, we're going to add the butter to the pan. Along with the butter, we'll throw in the onion, garlic, and ginger, and we'll stir it all up and cook it for about 2 minutes. Now we'll add the cumin, garam masala, red chili powder, sugar, and paprika, and cook for another minute. The garam masala I had a difficult time finding, so I made it. It was not difficult to make it all, and it definitely came out cheaper to make it myself than to buy it from the store. We're going to transfer all of this to the slow cooker, add the chicken, pour in the tomato sauce and the evaporated milk, and then just season with salt and pepper to taste and stir everything up. This will cook on low for 6 to 7 hours, or you can do it on high for 3 to 4 hours. When this has about 30 minutes left before it's finished, you're going to open it up and stir in the heavy cream and then let it cook for another 30 minutes. I served this over rice with some naan bread, and this was so good and the chicken was so tender. This is sun-dried tomato pasta with chicken and creamy mozzarella sauce. We're starting off with our ingredients here. We're going to start off in our skillet. We'll saute the garlic and the sun-dried tomatoes in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. The sun-dried tomatoes are packed in olive oil, so you can certainly use that, and that would add that extra flavor. We're going to go for about 1 minute on medium heat until you can smell the garlic. I've got our chicken breast sliced into thin, small slices. We're going to salt and paprika them to give it a little bit of color. Now that I'm smelling the garlic, we're going to take our tomatoes out of the pan. We're going to turn our heat to high and cook the chicken in the pan for 1 minute on each side. While you're cooking your chicken, you want to go ahead and start your pasta. Before you drain the pasta, set aside some of the pasta water for your sauce. You also want to take your tomatoes and cut them into smaller pieces so we can put them back into the pan. Now we're going to add the tomatoes back into the skillet. We're going to add the 1/2 and 1/2 and the mozzarella cheese. Whisk that together and then bring it to a gentle boil. Once your sauce starts boiling, you want to reduce the heat and simmer and continue stirring while your pasta finishes cooking. When your pasta is done and your sauce is thoroughly mixed and the cheese is melted, you're going to dump the pasta into the sauce and stir really well to combine everything. Once you have it stirred, you're going to add in the basil and the red pepper flakes and then give everything a really good stir again. If your sauce is too thick, you can add some of that pasta water. That's what we saved it for. It'll thin it out really nicely and not make everything too watery. To serve this, I just added some more red pepper flakes and salt to taste, and everything turned out really great. This was really delicious. This is smothered cheesy sour cream chicken. These are our ingredients here. We're going to start off here by just spraying our pan with some cooking spray. We're going to take sour cream and half a cup of Parmesan, salt and pepper, oregano, basil, garlic powder, and cornstarch, and mix it all together in a bowl. Next, we're going to take our chicken breasts and lay them out in the pan. We're going to put the mozzarella cheese on top of the chicken breasts. Once we have the mozzarella on top of the chicken slices, we're going to smother the sour cream mixture on top. Then we're going to take the remainder of the Parmesan and sprinkle that over the sour cream mixture. This is going to cook for 1 hour or until the chicken's cooked all the way through. My chicken slices were very thin, so it did not take an hour for mine to cook. I served this over rice and garnished with some fresh parsley, and this was so good. It had such a nice crust on it and a lot of flavor. This is creamy garlic chicken. We're going to start with getting a few things ready. We're going to combine the chicken broth. I have here some bone broth that I made the other day. I think this really enhanced the flavor if you do use bone broth, or if you have bone broth that you make yourself. It really kind of bumps up that flavor. So we're going to combine the broth, the bouillon, soy sauce, onion powder, mustard powder, and thyme. Give that all a really good mix and set that aside. On a plate, we're going to combine the flour and the Parmesan cheese to dredge the chicken in and set that aside. Here I've got my chicken laid out on a plate, cut into thin slices. We're going to season these with Italian seasoning and salt and pepper. I did feel this recipe was a little salty, so if I made this again, I would omit the salt at this stage and just season with the Italian seasonings and the pepper. We're going to take our slices of chicken and dredge it in the flour and Parmesan mixture, and then tap off the excess and set it aside. Next, we're going to heat our olive oil in a pan that's heated to medium-high heat. We'll add in our pre-dredged chicken and cook for about 4 to 5 minutes for each side. We want a crust, like a brown golden crust, to form on these pieces of chicken. Once you've cooked the chicken and gotten that nice golden crust, you can remove the chicken from the pan. In our pan, we've got the remaining brown bits from the chicken. That's good. We want that. And we're going to melt our butter in the pan and scrape up the little bits. Once the bits are scraped up with the butter, we're going to add in the garlic and let those soften. I just took the cloves of garlic and smashed them with my knife to help release that flavor a little bit. You could also mince the cloves of garlic up if you want them a little bit smaller. Once your garlic is soft and caramelized, you can take your flour and whisk it in. You want to keep whisking this until the raw flour smell goes away and you've got a nice roux formed. We're going to take the chicken broth mixture we made in the beginning and splash that in a little bit at a time. Continue whisking and making sure you get everything incorporated a little at a time. Next, we're going to stir in the cream. Make sure it's all combined very well again. Everything's going to be brought to a boil, and then turn your heat to low. So you gotta watch this and stay by it and keep whisking it. Once you've turned your heat down, you can stir in the Parmesan cheese. After the cheese is stirred in, you can add the chicken back to the pan, and any juice that came off on the plate, you want to dump that into. Cover and cook for 5 minutes. I served this with rice and veggie stir fry. I think this turned out delicious, and the gravy was really good over the rice. I also think mashed potatoes would be wonderful with this recipe, and that would have really finished it off nice.